Yeah. OnChain Revolution, you're not bullish enough. OnChain Revolution, you're not bullish enough. Every day we steady looking at the market, and we gon' tell you how to get started. Chain abstraction, fear and greed index, always looking at price action. Roll call in advance, you don't even gotta mention. I swap it in the deck, you're not bullish enough. Trade it in the size, you ain't trenching enough. We do that market recap. Too much Bitcoin, gotta go to rehab. Shizzy and Yagobi. OnChain Revolution, network in the art. Every day we go live, baby, you know where we are. We mention all the networks and the crypto. Need some more liquidity, flipping and trading is the recipe. Too many protocols to count. I get high and I'm never coming down. Number go up, then I'ma say peace. Yeah, you thought that I was gonna leave. Yeah, we just getting started, man. OnChain Revolution. Every day. Bring the beat back. Eyes everywhere, gotta be careful with volatile meme coins. You can get some bread if you round trip it, then you gon' regret. All this information in my head. BYOR, touch grass instead. Nobody really knows how it's gonna end up today. Somebody gotta tell you what's happening today. I don't let the money change me, no way. OnChain Revolution, here to stay. Yeah, say I'm sage, man. Voodoo 2 on the way. Yeah. Nicky's. Yeah. OnChain Revolution. OnChain. Hey, OnChain Revolution. Bitcoin not an illusion. Market recaps, then I do a roll call. You're not bullish in the vocal. Look at the price action, yeah, send it to the deck. Sell it through the stack. Order knows the best. Too much Bitcoin, gotta go to read. If you end up bearish, gotta put the knee pad. Let me see the comments. Look at the fear and greed index. Bridge. Look at the chart.
Welcome back to OnChain Revolution. My name is Shizzy on this channel. We cover the entire Bitcoin crypto ecosystems. What is up, guys? We have an amazing show for you guys today. We're live from the OnChain Hour, and this one's going to be really good because Bitcoin is pushing, guys. Bitcoin's pushing. We got 107,623 right now, guys. We are in the midst of chaos, in the world right now. We got wars happening. We got all kinds of crazy stuff happening, but Bitcoin just doesn't care. I mean, Bitcoin is just going to move up. Bitcoin wants to be at $1 million, whether that's this year or next year. It's not this year, but I potentially think in the next, 4 to 6 years, we're going to be over $1 million. I'm still thinking we're going to be over 700K by the end of next year. We will see if that happens, but I just think we're about to enter a global monetary policy where we just print money. We're about to print a lot of money. A lot of people are not feeling good right now, which means we need to pump the economy. And Jerome Pumpwell is speaking this week. Yes, Jerome. I think he's going to say no rate cut, right? I think Polymarket is never wrong. They're projecting this 99% that we are not going to get a rate cut. But there is some other things that he might say on Wednesday that could drive the market up. And a few of those things are quantitative easing, potential rate cut in the future, right? I mean, there's a lot of things he could say that could push Bitcoin to all-time highs during Wednesday's meeting if we don't get that further, right? I mean, we might even get that today or tomorrow. I mean, Bitcoin's at 107, all-time high is 112. That is, less than 5%. I mean, Bitcoin can move that pretty quickly if the time is right, and you're seeing a lot of people buying. You got Michael Saylor buying another 10,000 Bitcoin today, adding to his stack, his enormous stack of Bitcoin. Absolutely amazing. But without further ado, let's get this show started. Bringing my partner here, as always, Mr. Yagobi. What's up, buddy?
What's up? What's up? What's up?
What's up, man? How you feeling today?
I feel okay. I'm gonna keep saying that until, like I said, our trusty indicator of the M2 global money supply stops working, and it hasn't, right? So I feel okay, and I got my dog bags packed, I got my Billy bags packed, and I added some gizmo as well to my portfolio, right? My runes portfolio. But I'm excited for the next couple months because right now we're going through just like a lot of volatility in terms of social, societal sentiment with whatever's happening in the world. But like you mentioned, Bitcoin's starting to act like gold, to where it's kind of like, you know what, we're pushing forward. We're going to continue our mission. We see this global M2 money supply that has gone up, and I just feel like the next couple of months is going to be pretty consistent with that. But the news is what is going to be probably more volatile and inconsistent about what's happening around the world. But it seems like Bitcoin's okay with that, and we'll continue to march forward.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, that's kind of our head topic today: global chaos, crypto opportunity. Bitcoin's moment is now. Yeah, I mean, with everything happening right now, you're kind of seeing, people get into Bitcoin more and more heavily because war equals money printer. I mean, every single time we've had a war, the money printer like just went off, right? It completely just broke and just kept printing and printing. I mean, I mean, if you go back in time, I mean, the money printer started with the war, right? The money printer started with World War One, and then World War Two, and then Vietnam. I mean, you got to remember, Vietnam was right when we came off the gold standard completely, right? I mean, where we start printing the greenback, backed by the army, right? And now we're in a period of time where potentially we're looking at war, but we can't just print money. I mean, we're $37 trillion in debt, but they will, and then that's why Bitcoin's going to go up.
Yeah, there's a lot of things that are in limbo right now in terms of how involved and stuff the U.S. will get. We'll kind of let I guess the geopolitical pundits talk about that. But I think regardless, there's like I mentioned, there's a plan that Bitcoin kind of has where it's going, or how it's going to work and be this deflationary asset against the dollar. And this is just a part of that journey, right? And you got big players, Michael Saylor, BlackRock, everybody just wanting a piece of this pie of Bitcoin, right? So I think today is going to be a great show. We're going to hit on some of this stuff of opportunities and stuff. We're going to have our good friend Jeff from Merlin Chain on with us for that Merlin Monday hour or 30-minute segment there at the end of or around 12 p.m. Eastern. But, getting back to this global chaos, I look at it as whenever you see some of these other assets that are new micro caps, or not necessarily mid, but trying to head towards the mid cap, they'll pull back more like strongly than Bitcoin, right? And I think I look at those as opportunities, especially the ones with strong communities. And one community that we've been talking about a lot on the show as of late, especially, is the dog community. I started tracking the sentiment gauge on cookie.fun, and dog is constantly in the top 4 or 5 positions for that, right? So that's something I looked at when I saw the pullback get to like mid 350 or mid $300 million market cap. I was like, that's an opportunity, right? So that's the type of opportunities I look for: is community, solid project, has some sort of consistent stability or strength shown the past year and a half.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more, man. And then, with this global chaos stuff, though, you like you mentioned the M2 money supply, right? I mean, as this goes higher and higher, I mean, right now, I mean, it's still predicting by September here. Let me hide this. By September here, we're going to be over 150. I mean, so this is Colin's 68 day, right? So obviously he kind of moves it in a little bit every single time, but 68 days lag. So basically, this is the money supply. And this is Bitcoin. As you can see, we're kind of breaking down a little bit, kind of getting away from it, but which basically means that we're going to be kind of pumping here, potentially 115 by, I mean, it's looking like a few days, bro. Like if this chart has to go up, right? I mean, it has to. And then he has the Old Faithful here, 76 days. So, and it's still, that actually looks a little better. It kind of looks a little bit closer to what we're kind of thinking. And then still, I mean, we're still popping up. I mean, right here again, is before July. I mean, July's right here, right? We're going to take this straight up. I mean, this is before July. I mean, we're going to get this big pump in the next couple days. And, a lot of people say, you show me the chart, I'll tell you what's going on in the news. This is telling me that Jerome's going to say something on Wednesday.
Possibly say something dovish and get the, people that pay attention to macro more excited about what's to come. But look, I feel like the market makers and the centralized exchanges that they're in the business of liquidating people that are getting taking a little bit more risk in terms of using leverage and stuff like that. They're very good of short-term sentiment change. They're excellent at it. In the fact that, like, in the crypto space, a day feels like a week. A week feels like a month. That hits hard for a lot of people, especially on crypto Twitter and stuff like that. Bitcoin, it pulled back to 102 on Friday. That changes a lot of people's emotions for the short term. But if you're in this game long enough, you start to realize that if you have a strong indicator like the M2 global supply, you got to zoom out and say these little pullbacks back and forth, you know, they're really there to disrupt the traders, because if they don't happen, and even if we're a slow grind up, that's just these large centralized exchanges, entities that have leveraged platforms, they're going to get wrecked. And, you know, market makers will get wrecked. And so this is all a part of the game. But if you zoom out, you can really calm your nerves, right? And say, okay, yeah, you know, if we break down below this level, then something's different. Something's changed, right? Whether that level's like 95,000, 90,000, right? Then you're like, okay, wow. So even zooming out, I'm nervous. But if it stays within that range of swinging back and forth, that's always going to happen, no matter how bullish things are. You know what I mean? And so that's why I'm staying, you know, bullish for the next at least like month and a half, 2 months, and then I think we'll see a pause. But again, perfect timing for you to kind of look at your strategy, look at your portfolio, your new tokens, your micros, your majors. What do I want to do here? What do I want to do? You know, take a deep breath and make some sound decisions.
Yeah, 100%. But like towards this chart here, so we went to 76 day, right? And then jumping back, we have the 68 day. 68 day does seem like it's breaking. But the 76 day lag seems like it's right on pace to be at the bottom here. And but this is the 76 day is telling us, you know, we're going to be at, you know, 155, and then the other one's showing us we're going to be at like, yeah, around the same number. So it's right around 152. But what do you think? Do you think that we're gonna the money supply is gonna go up from here? Do you think that, you know, this is just continues maybe throughout, you know, the year, that we're gonna see more and more of this global money supply? I'm not even talking about Bitcoin's price following it. I'm just talking about the empty money supply going up further than it is now.
I'm not sure, but you know, maybe it leads us into October, November-ish. But once it starts to break even sideways, you know, I'm probably giving myself about like 6 weeks of, you know, realizing that time period of when things will probably start to turn, go sideways, or even like bearish, right? Consistently. I'll probably give myself 6 weeks. That gives me a head start, another 3-4 weeks, because most people try to use a 10-week lag. I think that's about average, right? And so what that will tell me is exactly like the middle, almost the middle of that chart right there. The I guess like that, no, where June, July is from 24. If you see above that, how it goes break sideways. Yeah, it started to break sideways, right? In March. And to me, once I see the money supply, because Bitcoin is going to be behind it in about 10 weeks, start to break sideways and be consistently sideways, then I know that we're probably going to go into like a bearish period, whether that's a, you know, 2, 3, 4 month period, who knows? But I'll know to be very, very careful for the, you know, and I'll try to time it with the lag behind it.
Yeah, I'm thinking that this right here is showing me that they were preparing for war, right? When they were printing this much money. So I'm thinking, dude, I don't think this money printer gets turned off. I mean, every war, every, you know, global chaos event or whatever, it just shows you, it kind of shows you that they were preparing for this. That's why so much money was being printed. And I think this doesn't stop. I think we see, you know, as this chart goes, I think we're going to see October, November, December kind of just explode upwards. And this would kind of get me to our number. You know, I think we're about to be absolutely insane with the money printer just blowing up. And I don't think there's any sideways anytime soon. And Bitcoin the same way if it's following it. So,
but I'll be watching it for sure, you know, because once it does start to break sideways, we know people like Colin Talks Crypto is going to start posting that, and other people are going to start posting it and saying, hey guys, the money supply is going sideways now. And to me, I'm going to utilize this until, like I said, it just doesn't work on a zoomed out perspective.
Yeah, 100%. All right, moving along in here. So we kind of hit on a little bit, but the Fed's this next rate decision is this Wednesday. So 2 o'clock, they're going to come out and they're going to say no change. And then 2:30, it really depends on the old man's words, right? What he says during that time period is going to be very crucial for what happens the next couple of days or the next couple minutes, where you might see Bitcoin just absolutely explode, or you might see Bitcoin drop. if he comes out and he just goes against Trump and basically says that, we're not doing any rate cuts this year. That's kind of what the stock guys are kind of talking about now. They're all saying like, no, they're actually betting on no rate cuts this year, with more rate cuts coming next year, which would absolutely be terrible for the rest of the year for risk on assets.
It would be really bad. And I really hope that doesn't happen, because like you mentioned before, it's a viral mentality perspective of when rates get cut from the everyday shopper, right? That pays attention at least, to these big institutions that take money from the bank, right? And you just get more aggressive and things like that. You're a little bit more relaxed. And so we'll see what happens here, but I definitely hope that we at least get one or two for the rest of the year.
Yeah, I think we do. I think we get multiple. I think we get 3. I still think we get 3, but we'll see. I think that starts maybe in July. I mean, you got Trump basically coming out and saying, we're replacing him, right? And then he's just like, he's a man of legacy. He doesn't want to go out that way. And I do think that, he's going to listen to the guy who appointed him. I think he's a very loyal person. We'll see. We will see. But let's jump into the next thing here. As of today, Strategy co-founded by Michael Saylor, acquired 10,100 Bitcoin, valued at roughly 1.05 billion. So we did see that he got $1 billion last week from STRD, and then he just used it to buy Bitcoin for MicroStrategy. This is an insane strategy by Michael Saylor. He just started a new ticker, which gives you 10% yield, and then he's taking that money he's getting from that new ticker and buying Bitcoin for MicroStrategy. I mean, it's absolutely insane.
It is insane. I don't know if there's any like pretty like big holes in the strategy or anything like that with the new ticker, right? But
yeah,
he's gonna keep double, tripling, quadrupling down on his strategy until I think we get to a certain crazy Bitcoin price. And he's like, he'll be like, I told you. And at that point, in theory, he'll be able to, probably make things more balanced and things like that, because right now it just seems scary. We don't know all the intricacies and stuff about how this is working, just from a surface level we do, but it just nerve-wracking a little bit that he keeps kind of double, tripling and quadrupling down. But if Bitcoin goes to $1 million, then I think he wins, right?
I mean, if it drops, he just buys more, right? Like, so it's just like it for him. It doesn't matter. He's so convinced that this is the asset for the future, and he's not changing anything. So this is the chart here. So this follows, a smaller buy of 1,045 Bitcoin, average price of $110 million on June 9th. So the following. Whatever. So on June 9th, bringing his current total holdings to 592 100 Bitcoin. $63 billion is whatever, is kind of what he's holding right now. And he only spent around 35 billion. So he's still in the positive by 100%. And this is his buys over the course of this last I mean, dude, it's every week now. Every single week, and Bitcoin's just kind of been going sideways here. We'll see what happens. Hopefully it doesn't look like this and we can kind of just go forward. But Saylor's buying, dude. Doesn't matter to him.
He's always buying. Always buying.
Yeah, man. All right. Jump to the next thing here. Justin Sun's TRON to go public in US via reverse merger with the NASDAQ listed SRM Entertainment as SEC paused a fraud probe. So this is absolutely huge. They're going public as TRON, but this has nothing to do with the actual blockchain itself. TRON blockchain and TRON LLC will be completely different projects, right? But TRON LLC will be buying Bitcoin. They're going to be copying, the Michael Saylor strategy here and potentially leveraging Justin Sun's money on top of taking in potentially selling stock down of this TRON LLC to buy more Bitcoin. They're a Bitcoin company now.
It's interesting how this all came together, right? And there's a lot of people on crypto Twitter saying, there's a lot of connection of the relationship between Justin Sun, Eric Trump, and all this playing out. That's always happened in the financial world and business world, quite frankly, right? And so you can get into that deep if you want. I'm not going to, right? But what I will say is that is this more of like a Ripple XRP, Tron LLC and Tron, the chain, or is it more of like the MicroStrategy and I guess Bitcoin? Because MicroStrategy doesn't have a blockchain, but that's what the relationship is there. How do you view this? Do you view it more, because it is from the Web3 world?
Yeah, I mean, this is exactly that. I mean, I think you hit on the nose there. It's you have Ripple, and then you have Tron, and then now you have Tron LLC, and then you have Tron blockchain. Two different companies. One's a stock and one's a crypto. And then you're gonna have what Tron does. I mean, they could eventually start using the Tron blockchain for a lot of their stuff. Maybe they're not going after BTC, regular BTC. Maybe they're going after WBTC. Maybe they're going after, wrapping it and then staking it on Tron. They could be doing a lot of different things here, but Justin Sun seems like a very smart person. And the deal is backed by Trump-linked investment bank, will form Tron Inc., with Eric Trump expected to take a role. So Eric Trump is going to be on the board here of this new company. So Eric Trump has a lot of different jobs now. I mean, the guy, he's leading like 4 or 5 companies. But this is the Trump kids. This is what they're doing. They're kind of leaving real estate and getting into tokenized assets, and then being whether it's stock or whether it's blockchain, or stable coins or whatever, mining. They're everywhere, and they're really putting their stamp on crypto and saying this is the horse that we want to ride forward. I mean, they're kind of saying real estate might be done or not going to make them enough money, and they're taking on the crypto.
Well, they got treated a bit unfairly, I feel like, in the real estate world after politics came into play with the family, and they couldn't get a lot of loans that they could easily get before, and it was a bit of like prejudice against them, right? And so I think they are probably pivoting, a bit here, but it's like having this role with this new public company is big. But I think this is bigger for Justin Sun and Tron, though, because now they have a lot of doors that just opened up. Whether that's what sectors do they want to go into now, integrating Web3, and we're about to find out, I think, in the next 6 to 12 months.
Yeah, 100%. The SEC clears Trump Media's S3 filing, enabling a Bitcoin treasury plan. So not just that, now the Trump Media is now going to be a Bitcoin treasury company, very similar to what Strategy is for Michael Saylor. So you're going to be seeing them selling stock down to buy Bitcoin. I mean, I think that's kind of what they're saying here by this S3 filing.
Oh, yeah. So another thing, right? I mean, like you just mentioned, they're trying to be this huge, almost like conglomerate, I feel like, of Web3. And it makes sense, though, right? Because the family has all the business experience, and now they kind of have a little bit of, I would say, control over their fate in this right now. The current administration is a part of infrastructure for Web3 in the US. So I think a lot of people are starting to see the writing on the wall here that the Trump name is going to be a huge name in Web3 for decades to come. But SEC seems to be really friendly with a lot of these filings, and this is good in terms of for the rest of Web3 as well, because you're not as nervous like whenever you're trying to build a legitimate business. But once this is a separate note here, once the ETFs really start to get through too, I think the SEC is going to be treating Web3 just so much better, from here on out. Obviously, you want to catch the bad guys, that kind of thing, if they play in there. But in the Trump name is kind of leading the way to that stuff for it to happen.
Yeah, 100%. And then, just adding on to that, speaking of ETFs, they said President Trump's True Social files for BTC and ETH. So same company. Now, not only are they enabling a Bitcoin treasury plan, but they're also going after BlackRock and becoming a Bitcoin and Ethereum ETF. I mean, but you're kind of seeing BlackRock, right? They have, they have accumulated 3% of all the Bitcoin, becoming the largest institutional holder. I mean, this is through their ETF. But they have 3%. They control 3% of all the Bitcoin that will ever exist. 3% of 21 million.
It's crazy.
It's in BlackRock's hands right now, and people are predicting that 10% of it could be in this BlackRock by the end of next year.
Ooh, I don't know. Do you like that? That's a little makes me a little nervous, right? Because they're obviously trying to dominate something here, and it's so funny because they came out recently and talked about like quantum computing and being a threat, but then they keep acquiring more and more. So it's kind of like the guy that's giving you maybe not the best news or advice because he's doing what he's telling you not to do behind, right?
Yeah.
But they're obviously on a mission. They've always dominated TradFi, or at least you could say at least the last 20-30 years, and they have a goal, I think, and that's to be dominant here. They don't want to change how dominant they've been, and they have all the resources, the Aladdin software for trading, for their institutional trading stuff. That's only what we know about. I'm sure there's stuff behind the behind doors relating to Web3 that probably they've been doing, and now they're just going to be stepping it up. But this makes me a little nervous. But what can we do to stop it, right?
I'm not nervous at all. This is the most bullish thing in the world. I mean, BlackRock, this is the company that controls all the big guys' money, right? I mean, they're buying Bitcoin with their money. They're going to make money on this. They're not they're not in Bitcoin for 12%, right? They're in Bitcoin for the long term, it seems like, and they're enabling their customers to buy this ETF. So they're not going to dump on them now. Like, I'm not nervous at all at 100K. I might be nervous a little bit at 300 or 400 or 500. Yeah, 100%. But at 300, at anything below 300K, really, this is really, really bullish, and I hope they keep buying. But eventually down the line, it's going to be too expensive for any company to get 10% of the Bitcoin, no matter if it's ETF or not. So I think that they're just in the right place at the right time, and I don't think they're going to let go of the dominance of holding that much Bitcoin. They want to be number one, and they could be with this accumulation tactic that they're doing, especially when they're having their people kind of buy this ETF.
Yeah, it does make me nervous for the longer term, but you said be at the right place at the right time. Entities as large as BlackRock that have the resources like them, they're able to create being at the right place at the right time a lot of times, right? Like, I feel like when you have that much money, you have teams that are just constantly researching, constantly doing these things. And so, but at the end of the day, it's good that they're on our side for now, right? In terms of, making Bitcoin look strong, keeping it strong, acquiring it for the short term. We'll see if how they, and they've been involved with gold forever. So it's not like
I mean, the other hedge fund, the big one, they're still against Bitcoin. They fired their CEO because he came out and he was like, Vanguard, yeah. So I mean, BlackRock, I mean, they're doing something Vanguard's not. I mean, Vanguard they're just as strong as BlackRock. I mean, in a sense of strength. I mean, they have mutual. They own the mutual fund game, right? So it's one of those things where Vanguard could have did this, but they're not. BlackRock didn't have to do this, right? BlackRock got bullish before ETFs were even a thing, right? They got bullish in July of 2020. I want to say of 2023. So and the ETF came out and was it January of 2024. So it's kind of like they're going to be left behind while BlackRock is above. So we'll see.
I think they changed their policy towards it, didn't they? After they got rid of them.
No, that was a company my wife used to work for. So it's kind of like one of those things where they weren't. If you were calling, they would send you to a different brokerage.
Gotcha.
Like they would transfer your account if you wanted crypto on there, if you wanted to do that. So, but no, they were still Vanguard was not allowing people to buy Bitcoin using Vanguard. They don't have an ETF either.
Yeah, and the management of assets is pretty much neck and neck, though. I mean, you're looking at BlackRock at 11.5 trillion, Vanguard at 10.4 trillion. I mean, what's the 1.1 trillion?
Yeah, but that's the thing, though, is BlackRock's going to be double them in a couple years while they're still kind of sitting sideways. So BlackRock's adopting crypto. Like they're going to pull away, and they're going to pull away very quickly, in my opinion. But that's the thing. That's kind of my point is, like, BlackRock didn't have to do this. They could have still been negative towards crypto.
Yeah, true.
All right. Coinbase sees a bull run ahead, forecasts new Bitcoin all-time highs in H2 2025. Basically saying that, the next 14 days, right? But warns of systemic risk from leveraged corporate bets. This kind of goes back to the Saylor. Kind of goes back to a lot of these other ones who are doing this. Now you got TRON and you have Trump's media doing this. So Coinbase is worried. Coinbase is kind of on your side of it and saying, you know, I'm a little worried by all this corporate borrowing to buy Bitcoin.
I think he's more pointing out one entity, though. You know, the MicroStrategy, I think, which is leveraged the most. I think BlackRock has done what BlackRock can get itself out of those kind of
They're
situations.
not in leverage at all.
Yeah. So he's specifically talking about Michael Saylor, I feel like, here, and that's it, right? But he has PTSD. He's seen stuff in the past couple cycles, so it's warranted for him to worry this way. But at least we get that second half of 2025, baby.
yeah, for sure. We'll see. I mean, they're bullish on it. So, all right. So, head of Base. Speaking of Base, Jesse Pollack looks forward to Coinbase listing all the Base assets via DEX. He said every Base builder deserves distribution. So that's pretty big. And then we have Bybit coming out and basically saying Buy Real is the first on-chain DEX on Solana, launching this month. Bybit's first big move toward becoming more like Binance with true on-chain presence. Think Binance Alpha, but on Solana.
This is becoming a trend, right? You and I have talked about this several times about them paying attention to Hyperliquid and starting to strategize and say, hey, I think we need to have a hybrid approach here, and it's happening with all of them now. It was smart that Coinbase has Base, right, to be able to kind of have that easy transition addition, I should say, to their app. But also Binance has always had BSE, and so that's easy. The difference one here is Bybit doing it with Solana, so that's definitely a different approach, but they're following the trend here, right? And so because of that, I actually think Hyperliquid gets stronger because they're copying Hyperliquid in a sense, right? Hyperliquid doesn't have the centralized exchange, we know that, but just the approach that they're taking with this on-chain activity, but also there is a centralized component to it. Magic Eden's talked about doing something like this, so I guess this is the new normal, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, I mean, this is all coming because of Trump, right? The Trump coin launched in January, and none of these exchanges were ready. They were all caught off guard, and they weren't able to make any of the fees that the Phantom Wallet and these DEXs made, right, on that, because Phantom Wallet, they got aggregated on there as well, and they were aggregating through Jupiter and doing a lot of really amazing stuff with that Trump coin, but the exchanges weren't able to play for a few days, and they had to wait for listings and stuff like that. So, and I don't think they ever want that to happen again. So I think that's why they're kind of all preparing for something like that, right? Because what they could do, obviously, like Base, for instance, if something launches on Solana, you can bridge it over to Base pretty easily. There's a lot of bridges in a lot of places. So if that did happen, you could potentially get it on Coinbase very quickly using their new DEX system that Jesse Pollack's bullish on. And then, same thing with Binance. And you can put anything on PancakeSwap as well. So, but Bybit's like, we don't have our own chain. We don't have Binance Smart Chain. We don't have this. We're just going to adopt Solana, because this is where the volume is anyway. If anything does launch, it's 90% chance that it launches on Solana right now.
I think they made this decision months and months ago to
January.
Incorporate. I mean, obviously, right? Because you have to have time to integrate it and create it or whatever. But I've noticed Solana is actually starting to lose interest a bit in activity there, right? We saw PancakeSwap jump up, but it was a direct result because of Binance Alpha, right? And so we'll see if this helps with Bybit's approach here, kind of doing a similar approach for Solana. But I will say, just being on crypto Twitter and some of these narratives that have been, you have the meme narrative that's been forever on Solana with Pump Fund. People, it's negative sentiment. If you look at Cookie.fund, it's been negative sentiment for a while, that specific narrative. And then you have the Believe ecosystem, ICM with the internet capital markets. They had an opportunity. I think they may have blown that opportunity just because the people that were leading it. And so I feel like Solana is starting to lose some interest, and that's a good thing for these other ecosystems, right? Like, the Bitcoin ecosystem can definitely benefit from that. Ethereum needs to benefit from that more than anybody. And we're starting to see a little bit more activity there. And then, of course, BSC's been taking advantage of stuff recently too. So it's going to be interesting to see if this is something they kind of regret a little bit down the road because they made this decision when everything was popping there, while things are starting to slow down and negative sentiment starting to build in terms of Solana.
Yeah, but I mean, you can bridge anything over to Solana at this point, right? I mean, everything's bridgeable. So if there's any hot coin that pops up, they're ready for it by being on Solana, which without having to wait a few days to list it. And I think you're right. I think this was months in the making. I think July 18th is kind of when all these exchanges woke up, right? When the Trump coin launched, and they weren't prepared.
January.
For it. January 11th. Yeah, that's what I said.
No, you said July 18th.
Okay. I meant January, so probably like January 18th. I think that's kind of when they all woke up. So, you're probably seeing that this is the result of what happened there. So, all right. Consensys founder Joseph Lubin hints at token for MetaMask and other products, starting with LINEA. So, if you guys aren't using MetaMask right now, I definitely think you guys should be swapping there. If you're doing anything on Ethereum or Base or anything, use their wallet, their aggregator on the wallet. And when you're doing that, you potentially are earning this airdrop. This is going to be one of the biggest airdrops ever. And Consensys, they're kind of hinting towards this being like 70% of this token airdrop to users of the wallet.
So there's going to be other token projects that are going to be a part of this?
So LINEA is another project. I think it's like a blockchain. I think it's like an ETH L2.
Okay. And okay, I gotcha. Yeah.
So this is two different projects that they're going to have tokens for.
Gotcha. So, I mean, we've been waiting for news about the MetaMask airdrop for a long time, but I was like thinking people that have used MetaMask forever are just going to benefit from this. But you were telling me that, you have to use their aggregator swap. You have to use certain functions of their product so they know that you are actually using it, because it is a standardized EVM wallet, and you could have those words anywhere. But yeah, so I agree with you. I think this is something that MetaMask needs. OpenSea should probably take notes here, and I'm pretty sure that they're going to have something coming up as well. But like MetaMask needs this
airdrop.
Yeah. So this is something that both of those entities need, because they need something to have their community rallying behind them. Right. I think Hyperliquid probably has the best study case, in terms of how to do an airdrop, how to sustain the token strength, and how to really make your community happy. And they're one that I think maybe some of these other projects should try to like learn from, maybe have a blueprint, because they've been really, really strong, and maybe something like this revives the brand of MetaMask.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to get people to use it, and this is a cash out moment, in my opinion, for Consensys here. They're going to wait for it to get bullish. They're going to do this massive airdrop, and they're going to sell down some of their shares as well. I think that they're going to try to take advantage of potentially not making money. I mean, how does MetaMask make money? I mean, it's just through the aggregator, and it can't be much, right? It can't be like insane amount of money. The bridge, yeah. I mean, but they're still aggregating the bridge using other bridges as well. So they're just aggregating again there. So aggregators, they do make money, but they're not making the money that you would get if you were at DEX yourself. So this is, to me, I need money right now. This is Consensys saying we're gonna wait to a bullish time, and then we're gonna try to make as much money as we can this cycle.
Yeah. And I don't know how long these airdrop metas are going to last for, right? Like 5 years down the road, they might not be. I don't think this is going to last forever. And so you got to take advantage of the time we're in right now, right? Whether that's, trying to farm the abstract airdrop or with the MetaMask one here. But there's a lot of opportunities, by the way, with big brands that are doing this.
100%. This is absolutely huge, in my opinion. Moving along here. So 7 firms filed for Solana ETFs S1s with the SEC on Friday the 13th. This was just a couple days ago, right? Fidelity submitted a new filing. 21 Shares did. Franklin, Grayscale, Bitwise, and Canary. Every single one of these companies has a Bitcoin ETF, and they all filed for for the Solana ETFs. So, which makes me think that July 15th day, 1 month from yesterday, is going to be absolutely one of the biggest days in the history of crypto, because you might see 20 to 30 crypto ETFs get pushed through, and it might take 3 months to get them all pushed up. I'm thinking October 1st or somewhere around October, they're going to be like, okay, this is the go date. They're going to actually give you a date for when they can go live. But I think, to buy the rumor, sell the news from July 15th to October could be absolutely amazing, and that kind of sets everything up in the same time frame.
Is that the alt season trigger? You feel like?
I do. I feel I truly believe that, because you're going to be gearing up for a lot of companies now. That what's your altcoin strategy, right? Because now they'll feel comfortable buying it through Grayscale, buying it through 21 Shares, buying it through Canary, right? Fidelity, instead of going out in Coinbase and buying it themselves, right? Or going through Coinbase's bigger program to buy it and actually have to self custody these coins. They want to own it through the ETFs.
Yeah, and I feel like this not solidifies, but gives the credibility that our space constantly looks for to like TradFi and the corporate world, right? Because now you have all these fund managers submitting for these new ETF, right? So obviously they believe in Solana, its future, because they're doing this. But I do hope with that credibility that some really good strong builders start to come into the space and say, hey, look, I think it's time to really turn Web3 up here, and let's build some serious products here that like early adopters of Web3 can benefit from. But that's not the reason they're going to do it. They're going to do it because TradFi is coming over and want something with substance to really start to invest in, really, at the end of the day, right? So I think this is step one to getting to that goal of continually adding credibility to the space and having a space that's feels more safe and feels more legitimate.
Yeah, 100%. Definitely looking forward to July 15th, man. That day keeps getting bigger and bigger with these ETFs. I'm just thinking, I mean, that's just kind of what I'm seeing on the timeline. But let's kind of get into that crypto fear and greed here. So last week we were at a 55. Yesterday we're at a 50. Wow, we're a little bit higher than yesterday's 50.
52.
Right there, 51. We're sitting pretty sideways on this chart. I do feel like we're going to be back in the 60s, especially with the way it is running today at 107,600 right now. So I'm definitely kind of thinking that we're going to outpace this number today. What do you think? Do you think tomorrow we're a lot more heavier in the green, a lot out of neutral, back in greed?
I do. I think that I don't know about a lot more, but I wouldn't be shocked if we're like 55, 58. And I can kind of get into that once we hit the price action.
Yeah, sounds good. Well, let's hop right into that. Let's get into the Bitcoin price action brought to you guys by Artura Finance. Artura, they're building something truly special. They're going to be on the Bitcoin L2s, 2 of them. They're going to be on a Botonics, the spider chain. This one is definitely one you're going to want to be a part of, because the rumor is they're not going to have a token, but they're going to incentivize in other ways, and that is something that I'll be chasing. Not sure what they're going to incentivize you with. But they're definitely saying at least the first couple of weeks are going to be very incentivized. So using Artura Finance will not only potentially give you the airdrop of the ARA, but you might be getting something from Botonics as well. So definitely want to be a part of that. And they're also going to be launching on Hemi. Hemi is backed by Binance. Binance always looks for different platforms, and kind of they chose Hemi as their Bitcoin L2 of choice right now, it seems like. So which tells me by using Artura, potentially you're not only getting the ARA token, but potentially getting the Hemi token as well. They said they will have a token, so they potentially could get an airdrop that way. So you guys can benefit in a lot of different ways by using Artura Finance.
Absolutely. Super stoked with that team and what they're going to bring to the Bitcoin ecosystem. It's going to be exciting. But before we get into the Bitcoin price action, guys, and crypto, if you could, on the YouTube side, smash that like, subscribe to the channel, turn your notifications on so you know when we go live. On the X side, let's share this space. Let's get as many people into our industry as possible. We want to help onboard normies to the space. And then on the abstract side, let's share that link as well. Let's get into some Bitcoin price action here. I was actually looking for fart coin just now and I couldn't find it on the thing, but we'll get to that in a second. All right, let's take a look here. Bitcoin on the hour chart is where I always start off here. And it looks pretty good. The hour chart, the hour time frame looks really solid here. You can see that it started to exhaust here a bit, but then has bounced back, and you can see we were heading out of overbought territory just to basically creep back in, and that's where we are right now. If you see right here, this uptrend was stalled a little bit, but then it seems like we're carrying on here. You can see the Bollinger Bands also opening up, and it hasn't really tightened yet. So typically whenever it stays open, that means there's more to go. So that's an exciting thing to see here. Let's take a look at some support and resistance levels at the 1076. We have hit resistance here at this 107,850, and on the shorter time frames, which, you know, I am degen sometimes, so I did take a look at the 5 minute, the 1 minute, but we have hit kind of that 107,800 a couple times on the shorter time frames, got rejected. We'll see if we can break through it on the next try, and it looks like there might be a try coming up here. But let's take a look at the support and resistance here. So at the 107,600 right now, we look like we are showing, yeah, definitely some resistance right here. We're fighting to get through here. We are showing some support right underneath it, but it's pretty even, right? It's not anything super overwhelming on the support side, but at the 107,480, we are showing more support for sure there. So this is good. We have some support in this level between 107,600 and 107,430. What we need to do is really push up here, get some bigger bids, or just overpower the volume of the buy side. So that's what we're seeing right now, kind of the struggle that we're going through. You can see the MACD looks pretty strong here. The leading indicator line is kind of, it's wanting to point up, but it is a little bit starting to flatten here. Hopefully this gets a little bit more vertical. We can show more strength out of that indicator. And then the stochastics looks like it does want to head back above the 80-point line. Hopefully we can get to 95, 100 on that. That would be great. If that's the case, then we could, if we break through that resistance level at the 107,800, I think we do cross back over 108. And that's why I feel like the second half of today will give us a better score for the fear and greed meter there. But that's what I'm seeing here on the hour chart. I do think that we, show a little bit more bullishness, and we do break above 108 for the second half of today. So not just the next 4 to 6 hours. I mean, like, heading into the evening here on the US side. All right. The 4-hour chart here is showing a little bit of confirmation of what I'm thinking, possibly, because it is showing strength on the MACD. We are showing this rebound that started on Friday night. The Friday night we got down to 102, and it's been kind of an uptrend, a little bit of a cup, but no handle there. But now we have this continuation, right? So we'll see if this continues up. Checking out the support and resistance levels here on the 4-hour, going back to Saturday. I think we are looking decent. Yeah, we're looking decent right here. We are having a little bit of a battle with the resistance side, overpowering, but seems like we've been able to push through that. And then once we get here, we do need to kind of continually push up, because we're showing resistance having more of the edge in these two zones here. But that can change, right? Depending on the shorter time frames, the hour we just talked about, and if just some strong bids come through and push us up. We'll see if we can get past that 107,800, because if we don't on this attempt, then I might have some different feelings and thoughts of how the rest of today could go. Because there's a certain amount of attempts, and then you just hit exhaustion, right? So we'll see how that plays out. But if we are, then the 4-hour chart definitely looks pretty good, and it could lead into a decent Tuesday and possibly a good first half of Wednesday, right? We'll see. We have 2 weeks until the end of this month. And the way that the market makers are kind of playing this global liquidity supply is, strong legs up and then chop with pullback, and strong leg up, chop with pullback, but kind of getting to that same 109 to 111, going all the way down back to 102 as we saw on Friday. And it's just kind of rinse and repeat until, it's ready for that next leg up that we talk about, getting past 115, hitting 120, and then eventually probably topping out at between 120 and 130. So we'll see how that plays out. But I am sticking to my original thesis that we do get between 120 and 130, at least by mid to the 3rd week of July, possibly. But yeah, so the 4-hour looks good as long as we can finish that plan out for the 1-hour chart, right? So the next 4 to 8 hours, if we can get back above 108, then I think that we have a decent price action heading into Tuesday and possibly Wednesday. The weekly, we did end the week on a red candle. right? So that's something that I don't like to see, but it was really small. And again, you know, we've seen kind of similar situations after a decently strong leg up, something like this. We're kind of seeing a little chop here, and then eventually once it's ready, that's why I said 2 weeks, we could have 2 more candles sideways before we decide to take off here, or maybe more or less, you never know. But yeah, I feel like our setup still looks pretty decent. You know, the MACD does look like it is hitting some exhaustion here. You can see, you know, similar situations whenever we had bullish activity that looked like it was about to finish and then popped up again with another leg. So I actually expect something like that. I expect like let's say that we, you know, get back to 110 and next week we get all the way back to 102. Maybe this looks like it's ending. You know what I mean? With two smaller, you know, lighter colored candles, and then July, you know, the first or second week we pop aggressively and we kind of start another bullish MACD. Was it buy pressure session, I guess you could say, or whatever. But yeah, so I think we're fine here. It's going to go sideways a little bit. I don't see it going sideways and just down. I just don't see that. I mean, I know that happened here, but with that kind of M2 global supply kind of playing out, right? So if we do go down for another week or two and then we pop back up, that's more of what I'm expecting. But hey, I could definitely be wrong. I've been wrong multiple times before. So that's what I'm seeing on the weekly chart, guys. I forgot to get into the others here. My bad. Let me actually, I can just change this to this. There we go. Let me do that. Okay, cool. Yeah. So the others chart is looking pretty good on the weekly. It's not horrible. You know, we are showing a green candle here to start this week, but we just showed that last week in the beginning. We did end the week with a decently sized red candle, but that was expected with Bitcoin ending in red as well, right? We've talked about this several times. Again, kind of same thesis here, right? Either a lag that's going to be I guess like exaggerated because it tails Bitcoin, but it gets hit harder if Bitcoin pulls back, and that's kind of what we saw in this weekly candle. I think, you know, if it continually tails Bitcoin, we'll see that. We'll continually see that. If Ethereum does take off, then it will attach to Ethereum. That's my thesis on this. So I think we're fine here on the other chart. For the audience that don't know what the other chart is everything besides Bitcoin in the top 10. So yeah, I think we're sitting fine here. We're sitting fine here on the weekly for the others as well. Now let's get into some crypto bubbles, because that's something that's fun for today. At least we've had a pretty good green day for the bubbles. You see Hyperliquid up 10.2%. I still don't know what white is, but it's up to 11.3%. I've been looking for Fartcoin this morning, and did it pop out of the top 100?
No, dude, it's like if anything, it got further in.
Oh, here it is. It's up 1.5%. So not a horrible day, but not as bullish of a day for Fartcoin when everything else is bullish. Caspa up 11.5%. ICP up 5%. You can see this is kind of different. You're seeing more of the utility stuff have stronger bounce back this time.
Yeah.
You see Bonk down or up only 3.8%, SPX up 6.8%, then Fartcoin up 1.5%. While you're seeing liquid utility stuff just look a little bit stronger today. Dog with hat only up 3.3%. Right. So this is interesting. We'll keep our eye on this to see if this is a trend. If it is, we could see some, you know, utility plays really starting to take off. And with alt season, I think it kind of does, you know, do that, right? Like utility will show strength a bit. I mean, there's like that one or two like memes that goes nuts. I know that, but
I think it's the large caps that are moving right now, right? So that's where you're kind of seeing a lot of money maybe rotating from Bitcoin into Ethereum, and then a lot of the money that was in Ethereum kind of rotating and getting even more risky. That's why you're seeing Aerodrome up 15%. You know, they're going to have a huge connection with Coinbase, so that's why they're up. Hype. I mean, anytime there's a liquidation, Hype's up, right? Because they do have that program when they buy and burn. I mean, they do. They like whenever they make money, they go and they buy and burn the Hype token. So you're kind of seeing that, and you make your DAO one of the bigger leaders in DeFi, really up 6.9%, right? And then you're kind of seeing the memes kind of go sideways here. Fartcoin, you know, being that leading indicator kind of shows me tomorrow might be a very sideways day leading into Wednesday, if you want to go off that indicator Fartcoin is. But I mean, you're seeing a lot of the larger caps move a little bit. I mean, Aave up 5%, you know, Dot up 4%, Algo, same thing. So it's really bullish on the sense of this is kind of what we need right now. We need these large caps to start moving a little bit.
Yeah,
And then you
show
get
strength.
even riskier, and you're seeing some of this.
Yeah, show strength and
Yeah.
for sure. You know, the stuff that people are used to seeing. Oh, wow, this is interesting. Mog up 11.4%.
Yeah.
So kind of standing out of the meme coins here. Brett up 8.3%. You got Dog up 5.8%. Dog Army, what's up? You guys need to keep pushing the socials there. You guys are doing great. Let's keep that up. Peanut. So it looks like from 100, rank 100 through 200, some of these memes are showing decent strength. That's interesting.
Yeah.
But it makes sense though, because like the big caps where the blue chips are going to be in the top 100. So
well, these got whooped on Friday, right? So
Yeah.
you're kind of seeing people coming in by the dip. The buy the dippers came in strong with those ones for sure. So
Yep.
All right, let's jump to the next thing here. Jump into roll call here. Let's see who was first is first. And it does look like Danny Boy. Shout out to Danny Boy. Locked it in. He is officially first and officially in first place as well. 26th win of the year. Lucky Luki has 25. Webdro has 23. So it's looking like Danny Boy, Lackey, Webdro, and then ASAP Benji in fourth place with 12. But shout out to Danny Boy locking it in, man. Let me show my screen here so you can take a look at that as well. So yeah, first 16th, Danny Boy rocking. Shout out to you, man. And he even locked it in with a super chat. He said, I am not getting faded on this one. So shout out to you, man. Thank you so much for the super chat as well. And then we got Lackey Lukey right there. I mean, he's right on Danny, right behind him. And then we have Danny Boy says, thanks, Lackey. It's kind of dead in here today. It did. It was. There wasn't a lot of comments yesterday, which is very rare for the chat. You guys are usually killing it. ASAP Benji says, hi, Danny Boy for the win. Keep the chat active. Danny says, thanks all. There's two kinds of super chats. There's one with no comment for $1 and another with a comment for $2. That's why he does the $2 super chat after he does, so it just doesn't get reaped. But absolutely genius if it works. Webdro says Danny Boy back in the lead. Yes, Melam Yuri is here. What's happening with IR and IL is unbelievable. Thank God for Bitcoin. Wild times ahead. Yes, 100% for sure. Mempool Punk is here. Abstract is here. Chips and Dip says all-time high this week. Potentially we could see that one Wednesday or Thursday for sure. K99 is here. Spindrift is here. Satoshi Nakamoto says bullish or bearish. I'm definitely bullish. I think you feel the same, right, for this week?
Yeah, I feel okay. Like I'm not like expecting anything specific, just not to go below 102 and not to go probably above 111. But if I had to pick one of those
week.
Yeah, and okay. If we were to go above 111, I think that's more probable than going below 102.
Yeah, 100%. I agree. Spindrift says, let's go Bitcoin. Vader time is here. Bitcoin is truth is here. Then we got Hydro Sapien says, this is it. We go to the moon. Rocket red. Countdown liftoff. Yeah, shout out to you, my friend. Thank you so much. Chief Axel is here. KDN is here. Danny Boy says, don't get reaped. Don't get reaped. Glasshopper says, good morning. I'm back. Glasshopper is back. Shout out to you, my friend. Stan says, any opinion on the Solana Seeker, and will this lead to data ownership without limits? Apple has killed app innovation through restrictions, and will Solana unchain imagination? Thanks. What do you think?
Solana Seeker, the mobile phone. Honestly, it could happen. It could happen, right? Like if you look at like the top chains right now that are in our industry, that is probably the most centralized feeling, most corporate feeling. I would say Solana, other than like XRP, of course, but XRPL. But I think it would be Solana, right? And so they started off that way in terms of the centralization of it. So I wouldn't be shocked if there was like this app market that, you know, you got to get approved to get into and all these things, which, I mean, there's ways of doing stuff, kind of like badging stuff. Like you said, you know, you can badge stuff to say, hey, this gives our, you know, thumbs up approval without like saying you can't put any other applications in. I don't know. We're getting into a crazy part of the evolution of Web3, which we all expected, I think, that once it merges with like the corporations and stuff, and I mean, look, we got to accept that that's a part of the world at this point.
Yeah.
And we're gonna see what this phone and its ecosystem does with builders and stuff like that.
Yeah, and most apps at this point, they're just web browsers, right? Like, I mean, there's no difference. When I go to on my iPhone and like for instance, like we use Opus Clip now. So when I use Opus Clip, like there's no app for it in the App Store, but I just saved it to my home screen, and now it feels just like an app. Like there's no difference. So a lot of the apps too, they're just web browsers anyway. So a lot of crypto stuff are just web browsers, right? You're not seeing anyone really go the app way except Track. So I mean, I don't know. I don't really think there's any like restrictions right now because you can add anything to your home screen, and they're all just web browsers at the end of the day. So
yeah, the benefit of a company launching an app and getting approved by Apple is the marketing and the stuff that comes with that.
yeah,
Right. I mean, you know, the top apps over there they make so much money, right?
yeah,
And if you have your own website, you don't get that, right? And so that's where I think he's talking about, you know, it's like, and it sucks because it's like if you're in, right, with the club, but there were so many restrictions and stuff that Apple had, like they get their cut, you
yeah.
can't do this or you get taken off and all this stuff. So
I mean, Opus Clip though, you know, we locked in. You know, we're paying $30 a month, right? And they're not giving any of that to Apple, right? And they don't have to be an app. You can. I think you can get away with being a website at this point in time without having to go that route of being an app. I mean, unless you're okay with giving 30%. I mean, it's the same thing. I mean, Opus Clip looks just like any other app right now on my phone.
yeah,
So
but you have to know how to market yourself and you have to know how to get your name out there and stuff like that, right? That's the thing. I'm sure Opus Clip had some investors and stuff to help them get started. But with the smaller builders and developers
yeah,
on the Apple App Store, they can kind of get that initial jolt from Apple. But I
how
agree.
though? Like, I don't ever see no apps or anything that like
Well,
any.
they could be featured, or if it's hot, you know, people you don't have to say too much, I guess, and you can just, you know, there's ways to kind of co-market that, I guess, with Apple. I don't know. I haven't launched an Apple app.
Yeah, there is. I don't see any co-marketing from Apple. I don't see Apple any marketing at all for apps. I mean,
I
that's just
think,
from my standpoint.
yeah, I think
But
there's a featured section, but yeah, I mean, I don't know. We'll see.
yeah,
You know, there's a reason why people do it though. There's a reason why
yeah.
they go that route.
Then we have Patty Poo says sup. Nighthawks as GM Lambo tomorrow. Hopefully, Stan says finance, music, AI, games, social media, and etc. have been promised by many projects to overtake Web 2 and the Web 3. Which area of Web 3 cause hysteria? I mean, we'll see. It could be gaming, right? Especially with Rockstar coming out. Stan said is Dot dead. Dot actually has an upgrade called Jam coming out probably within the next 2 months. That actually could take them, you know, potentially more use cases. I don't know. We'll see. And then finishing off with Tim Baker, AODR himself. Thank you so much for every one of you guys who make roll call every single day. Much, much appreciate it. But let's kind of jump into our next segment here. We have the legendary Jeff joining us from Merlin. So every single Monday, and you guys, well, most Mondays, he was sick last week, but every single Monday we try to have the guys from Merlin on to kind of show what they're building. And today we're lucky enough to have Jeff with us. So Jeff, welcome back to OnChain Revolution. Thanks so much for being here.
Hey guys, what's up?
Not much.
What's up,
You know, just trying to get a feel of this market, right? We know that you've been really busy with partnerships and updates and stuff with Merlin's branding and all that great stuff. But how do you feel about the current market right now? I feel confident with the global money supply, so I'm zoomed out. I don't get nervous lately, but you know, not everybody feels that same way. How do you feel about the current market conditions?
Yeah, I mean, if you are like a holder of Bitcoin mostly, I don't think you should be worried because, you know, Bitcoin has gradually become assets that most institutions, you know, companies, even government are holding. But you know, for most, you know, retail users, new traders who, you know, concentrate on the no matter meme coin or altcoin, I think, you know, I don't think the future is like I'm not saying it's bad or good. I'm just saying, you know, it's kind of like a mix. You know, nobody knows what's going on right now. Nobody knows what's the biggest thing to happen. But yeah, I think that has been there for about like, you know, 6 months since, you know, the Trump token launch in January. But yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense a lot. But what you're starting to see with headlines and stuff, because I agree with you. Bitcoin's definitely showing strength, but then you're starting to see these headlines with like Justin Sun recently. He's making some big moves with going public and having this great strong relationship with the Trump entity. Is that bullish for the alt market though? Because that's Tron. You see stuff with like SharpLink acquiring a bunch of Ethereum. There's some of these big names that are making moves in the back, but it's not really being talked about a ton. How do you view that?
Yeah, I think for like really old altcoins like XRP, Ethereum, Tron, even Solana. I think they basically find their position. Tron has been there for many years. Their revenue is insanely high, and also like Circle, got IPO. So for these projects, these companies who have proven their company actually has some real, no matter products or solutions or positive runway, for doing all kinds of no matter payment or like Ethereum, they're doing like lots of RWA right now. So yeah, I think for those tokens, yeah, of course. But the problem with this cycle is there are too many so-called altcoins. I think the exchanges launch like like 100 different tokens every week, which is crazy. So that definitely like dilutes the value among all these projects. But yeah, I mean, in general, of course, I'm bullish because we see more money, we see more builders into the ecosystems. But definitely, you can see lots of projects, just fade away really quickly. Like last cycle, when you see a project, somehow you can see him there for like at least like 1 to 2 years. But to be honest, like most tokens launched like last year, most of them just don't have any influence anymore.
Yeah, that makes sense, 100%. And you are seeing, these exchanges now come online with DEXs, right? We saw Binance do it first with the Binance Alpha. You guys are over there on there. You definitely took advantage of that, which is awesome. And today, we're seeing Bybit launch their basically program on Solana, and then Coinbase launching it on Base via Velodrome. So you're seeing a lot of these chains now. They're just like, we're done listing. You want to go buy it? Go buy it. We'll buy it for you through a DEX, right? It's that's definitely got to be bullish.
Yeah, I think that is definitely like a good thing for all these new exchanges trying to be like. I think in the future, CX and DEX are not that different. Somehow you're just using an app. You don't even know what's going on behind that, but it makes you easier to trade. And recently, I see OKX wallet and Binance wallet. They have new features as well. They have signals, off chain and on chain. So if you guys try that, I think it really helps the early adopters. The new Bitcoin and new crypto traders to understand what's going on. So you can check all these news and make your mind. So yeah, I think it's definitely going to more communities, getting more adoption. So we probably don't see crazy stuff every month, but for most of the time in crypto, you just need to wait.
Yeah. And you talk about the new tokens and stuff, and Merlin falls into that, right? Because you guys launched in February of 2024, I believe. And but for someone that's new, that's listening in, because this cycle is different from last cycle, to where like these new tokens, they really have to stay relevant and be in the news and make moves and stuff like that. Is that something to look for? Is that like an indicator? Okay, if it's a new project and they're not in the news, they're not being talked about, then that's a big red flag.
I mean, first you have to get into the user's mind. That's what everybody's talking about. About like mind share. That's why Kaido is becoming popular, because people are struggling. Projects are struggling for more mind share. So yeah, I mean that's for sure. But also I think another thing that we have to pay attention is you need to have more positive revenue. You need to make sure the company is running in a healthy structure, so you can stay there for longer. Because most projects we met last year who did TGE, they have like many of them don't have a clear business model. That's how they kind of slowly fade away, and that's why some projects, they just choose to dump all their tokens, because to be honest, like there's nothing they can do anymore.
Yeah. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And I think like for the listeners that are new, none of this is obviously financial advice, but it's something to keep in mind, right? Like if you're researching on a project and it's just stagnant, they're not putting effort to make partnerships or be in the news at all and all these things. That's probably something that should worry you, right? Cool. So let's kind of get to one of the news events that happened with Merlin Chain recently, and it was the fact that you guys made it to the Kraken roadmap, and I think that was really big. I'm going to bring this up real quick, but could you talk about what that means for Merlin? First of all, like, were you surprised, or was this kind of a little bit expected? And what does it mean for Merlin in the future of Merlin Chain?
Yeah, we have started the application stuff in spring, and I think the like the reason we're doing this because we're trying to get more regulated markets like Europe and Korea and North America. So Kraken is like we got listed on the Bivava before in Europe. So next move is going to be US and Korea, and the thing we do with Kraken is kind of different from all these Asian exchanges because they ask a lot of things about compliance, about regulation, about all these legal opinions and stuff. So I think this is really important for us because there are many exchanges. Like for example, I know for sure for Korean exchanges, like when they do like due diligence, they look at if that token was listed by Kraken or Coinbase, because that is how they judge if the project is regulated, because they don't have the resources to do all this compliance work, but they trust Kraken and Coinbase. So yeah, I think that is the most important factor for us. The trading volume on Kraken is not that crazy like a bit of Binance, but definitely give the US traders a chance to get to know about Merlin, because before, if you are a US citizen, you cannot buy a Merlin token from all these exchanges except you buy them from like OnChain. So yeah, I think this is like a big move from us. After getting on the roadmap, it's getting listed. I mean, we probably use BNB chain standard, which has been proven has lots of liquidity and very safe on BNB chain, and Kraken has the BNB chain network, so that's going to be much easier. Yeah, so I think that is what happened, and I'm just really glad. We have lots of US users and followers. That's the first time they can legally buy the token of our project here.
Yeah, man. Yeah, that's absolutely huge. I think Kraken, and then another big US exchange would be Crypto.com. Are you guys in talks potentially with them in the future?
Yeah, we're in talk with everyone. The problem is right now it's like most exchanges have a like long line. Like there are too many projects. So I think one by one, by different time zone, time frame, I think we'll get like listed on all of them.
Hell yeah, that's super bullish, 100%.
All right, awesome. Go ahead, Shizzy, you had something?
Yeah, so we saw a tweet from the Merlin Chain account over the weekend. It says, we're thrilled to announce strategic collaboration with Takara Lend and Merlin Chain L2 to bring MBTC to Say Network. This is absolutely huge. Again, you guys seem to be going everywhere, especially with not only Merl but also MBTC now on Say. We do see you guys potentially being on Sui and now Say, and I mean I could probably see MBTC everywhere. I mean, you guys are on Core as well, so I mean, just pretty big.
Yeah, I think the BTC-Fi, recently I've checked lots of other BTC projects. To be honest, after TGE, some of them just stopped building anymore. But I think that's great timing for for us, for like solve protocol for all these legit projects who keep building. And BTC right now is on over 19 chains. We're getting on more.
Wow.
Say is one of them. Yeah, Say is definitely one of them. Sui is definitely one of them. All these other new chains we're trying to get on, help their DeFi projects like lending, DEX, to get more liquidity. And I think BTC-Fi definitely has more big news coming up. OKX launched their Bitcoin called XBTC. And right now Coinbase have their CBBTC, and Binance has their BTCB. So yeah, I think all these exchanges are coming in, and WBTC, of course, MBTC, and all these other BTC projects. So I think this is gonna be a like I don't think BTC is gonna be a new thing anymore. It's gonna be there forever. Or like all this liquidity are going to come in. All these companies who have BTC are going to consider doing DeFi, having yields with their Bitcoin. So yeah, so I think if next year we're talking about BTC5, I don't think that's gonna be exciting anymore, because it's just like a norm that everyone does. Who laughed at BTC5 last year is going to make a fool of themselves, because this is actually happening, and this is actually having utilities, because it gives yields to your Bitcoin.
Yeah. It kind of reminds me a little bit of like this big stable coin rush that's happening in the US right now with all these different companies, except for, that has a big spotlight on it, right? Like you have Walmart announcing they're going to create their own stable coin, and other companies as well. But like with the BTC-Fi, you're right. There was a lot of people that were kind of like poking fun at it last year and all these things. But the people that did secure a strategy, it's a business strategy now. It's a business model. And I feel like the ones that did it right, that adds to their sustainability, their TVL grows, all that stuff. Do you see it similar, or do you think it's different?
Sorry, what's the last part? Like what do you mean?
Do you think it's kind of a similar situation to like the stable coin boom that's about to happen, but except for it was smaller, and but people are going to realize they should have got into the BTC5 part earlier?
I think it's somehow different, but they had it has some similarities. Like for example, the participation of institutions definitely show the potential behind stablecoin and Bitcoin. But the difference is with stablecoin, I think there are gonna be lots of new different projects, or even government. I can imagine if some government launches their own stablecoin, even they launch US stablecoin, because every country has some US dollars, have trillions of US dollars, probably more than US government. So it's I'm gonna say it's permissionless, but with regulation, but regulation in different areas. So many institutions can launch their stable coins in order to do payments. In many European countries, African countries, they don't have a very stable payment network, but they can use that stable coin to do payment. So I think you can see hundreds of thousands of new entities doing that in the future. But Bitcoin is different, because people are not launching Bitcoin. People are using the Bitcoin already in the network. From 21 million, actually probably 15 million, because other 9 million just don't move at all. Most of them are Satoshi's Bitcoin. So using those Bitcoin to wrap them and doing DeFi activities to do to make yields. So I think if more companies are doing that and making that as a regulated financial product in many banking, assets management, I think this is going to be huge for Bitcoin holders. Because when I talk to people about having 8% yield for Bitcoin, many people they're excited, because buying Bitcoin already has really high yield in the past 10 years, and putting another yield on that's going to be really huge for many asset management firm, for many investment banking people. So if all these people are going to do that in the future, it definitely makes the supply less and less, and and also with ETF, all this stuff with MicroStrategy buying more Bitcoin. So I think the supply, the actual circulating Bitcoin amount will be really, really low, and that's going to be very, very, very bullish for Bitcoin holder.
Yeah, I mean, if they keep buying the way they're doing, there's gonna be nothing left on these exchanges, right? I mean, I don't know where they're gonna get more Bitcoin. I mean, if Saylor continues this, it seems like the more the valuable Bitcoin gets, the more he's able to take leverage on. And on top of that, he's now opened up STRD, which is you're able to get 11% yield right now on Bitcoin, but you're not actually buying the Bitcoin. You're just buying STRD and getting 11%.
He's buying the Bitcoin.
Well, and then he's taking your money and he's buying Bitcoin with it, and then figuring out a way to how do you think Michael Saylor is leveraging Bitcoin to get? He's saying he's getting 16%. I mean, is he in MBTC? How's he getting 16%?
I think they are still like early stage because they have too many Bitcoin, and also because they're doing more conservative strategy.
Yeah.
But in the future, if that amount, because people right now they're afraid of MicroStrategy. If they buy more and dump more, their amount like kind of going ups and downs. But if they can secure the amount to like a very stable line, I think they're going to have to think about how to utilize like those Bitcoin. But yeah, I think those institutions like they're really early stage. They're only like looking into the Bitcoin at this moment. But yeah, like us, like all these big like all these BTC builders, we are like really early stage companies, but we are actually like pioneers to explore more opportunities, and those opportunities who can be proven to be safe and long lasting will be there for all these companies, bankings, or like institutions.
Yeah, that makes complete sense there. Yeah, I get a little nervous whenever I see how much he's been buying and starting a new ticker. But if Bitcoin goes to 500,000 or million, then he's going to be creating products along the way to hopefully be able to pay off all those loans that they got. All right, cool. Well, let's jump into this other update from Merlin a bit. I know that you guys added the bonded proof of stake staking option to merlinchain.io here, but I'm going to pull up first the flexible. So in the flexible, right, there's already 76 million. Is that correct? That's staked for the 15% APR.
Yeah.
Okay, that's crazy. That's a lot. All right, so 15%. So this is the way the product works here is this is a day-to-day staking, but if you do withdraw, there is a 7-day period just to make sure everything's good whenever you get your Merl back, correct?
Yeah.
All right. Okay, so is it with both that you can kind of withdraw the rewards, or is it only the bonded that you can do that on a day-to-day?
Both.
Okay, both. So you can withdraw your rewards on a day-to-day for the audience that's listening in. Okay, so cool. Now we're going to go to the bonded, this is the new option here. So pre-stage, day-to-day, you can withdraw whenever. It does have a 7-day period of actually getting the Merl back into your wallet. But going to the bonded is a 6-month bonded staking option. You are earning 45% APR, and there's 18 million. And this was just launched, what, a week and a half ago?
Yeah.
Okay, so you got 18 million already staked in there right now, but you're earning 45% APR, and you can also withdraw on a day-to-day. We were talking about this in our kind of weekly meetings with you, and you said that there's a decent strategy here for people that don't want to wait for the bull run or whatever. You can kind of play it. Could you kind of break down what that could be?
Yeah. So there are already lots of market makers and traders doing arbitrage with the perp and spot. So for example, if I stake 1 million Merl token in the 6-month bonded staking, what I should do is I should open a short position on perp with the same amount of money. But so for example, 1 million Merl will be 100K US dollars. But I don't have to do 100K. I can, because it's perp. It has leverages, so I can do like half or third of that like money to open my short position. So if the price goes up, that means you're losing money on the short position, but you are making the same amount of money on the 1 million token you staked. I'm not talking about the APR yet. Even though there's like zero APR, you are not losing any money, because the price goes up, you're making money here, you're losing money there. If the price goes down, that's what most people are worried about. If the price goes down, you're making money on the short position, but you're losing money on the spot, on your token, which are staked. So that is like how people do the arbitrage, how do the hedging. So the 45% APR on top of that is basically free money. The worst thing could happen is if the price goes to zero. So if, for example, Merl FDV comes from 200 mil to like 2 mil, okay, so basically it goes to zero. So your 45% APR will be like 0.45% APR, but you're not losing money. You're just making less money. So if you do well with the arbitrage, with the hedging, I think it's the easiest money you can ever make. But somehow you just have to understand how to do this kind of arbitrage. But I mean, this is not rocket science. You can use ChatGPT to asking, but it's very easy. Just open the same amount of position with the amount of tokens you staked. and that's what all these like professional traders and institutions are doing, because they love to do this kind of arbitrage to win the funding rate, so they can earn the funding rate, but also they can stake their token into this program, but also open their short position on your token. And many people are thinking short, long, they're like bad and good. To me, I don't think that's the thing, because short and long is just purely bring liquidity to your to this asset. They're like billions of dollars shorting Bitcoin. They're not hurting Bitcoin. Not, I would say 99% of that short amount is because they already have Bitcoin, so they're doing this kind of hedging to make sure their Bitcoin value is not going down like for a lot. So yeah, so people who short, most of them, they do have the actual assets.
Gotcha.
Hedging's been around forever, right? This is like a game that the billionaires play, right? They don't lose whether the price goes up or down. They're always ready for everything, and this is the exact same strategy you can do here with Merlin that I'm sure a lot of them are probably going to take advantage of as well, especially as more of them come online. So this is actually really awesome, because there hasn't really been any staking in TradFi, right? I mean, you can get some type of yield and stuff like that on stocks that really don't go up. But I mean, this is a big strategy, and probably going to be used by a lot of bigger people in the space.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, what Jeff just explained is kind of like a hedging 101, right?
Yeah.
And it's not necessarily specifically for this, but yes, like, if you learn how to do it with ChatGPT, it's something you can take advantage for this or other situations like this as well. So appreciate you breaking that down for us. I'm excited about the 6-month APR for sure. That's something I'm looking into right now to see when it's right for me to do that. Yeah. Any other updates or anything that we haven't really touched on yet, or anything for the audience maybe to look forward to?
I think I think we're pretty down with most of them, and we're definitely going to try to bring more good news with no matter the listings or the BTC side or the Merlin staking in the future. And also we are still working to ship more AI products with the infra we have been building. Like today, I just still not feeling too good, not in a really hyped kind of situation. So I think that's gonna be it. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, appreciate you, Jeff. As always, you guys need to feel lucky because you don't really get the founder of a chain coming to speak with you guys on a weekly basis, right? So appreciate you for your time, and we will talk to you soon, sir.
Cool. See you.
All right. Bye.
See you, Jeff. All right. So we have one more thing to get into. So this is a tweet from Leonidas. He says, Dog's efforts are being made to build a dog bridge to base, which will be soon. So Leonidas wants Dog on base, which basically means he wants Dog on Coinbase, and he could really get that here. So what do you think, man?
I love it.
Dog on base?
Yeah, Dog on base, which will lead to Coinbase, right? I mean, first people can start trading it like in their on-chain kind of environment, right? And then they see that people are liking it, and they'll just get it on the centralized side as well. I mean, I think a lot of stuff is going to happen that way, right? So I think this is big. Look, I mean, Leonidas has done such a great job with pushing and helping kind of curate the Dog Army. And the Dog Army is, if you don't mind, I want to show something real quick, because, the Dog Army is constantly in the mind share of everybody. If you look here, if you go to cookie.fun, like you can see that Dog is right here, and it's never not in the first two columns. I have not seen it out of the first two columns since I started tracking this. But this is really cool because you can click on it, and you can kind of. And another thing too is, watch this. I just clicked on Dog, so hopefully it takes me there. Look at the sentiment. Community sentiment is 99.5%. Okay. That literally like 0.5% of the people are like only like bearish on it, I guess, or whatever you want to say. But 99.5% is absolutely nuts. Let's go to something like Fartcoin. So I clicked on Fartcoin. It has a 90%. So, 5% less, right? Fartcoin has decent momentum, but, it beats Fartcoin with sentiment. I think Dog Whiff was one that was up here. But yeah, I mean, it just shows like, I think SPX is another one that's a top one. Let's compare it to that. So SPX has a 77.3%. So Dog is really crushing it with the community. 99.5%, not 95%. I misspoke. so it's just crushing it in terms of like positive sentiment. So if you're in the dog army, you're listening, keep doing what you're doing. Double down, triple down, quadruple down, whatever you're doing, it's working.
Yeah, 100%, dude. The dog army is absolutely insane. I mean, you just hashtag dog on the timeline, and you'll see why they're insane. And it does feel like, if you post a post and you get nothing, but if you hashtag dog, you get 80 likes and 40 retweets. So I don't know if you guys want to take advantage of that. I'm actually taking advantage of it right now because it's absolutely awesome. But yeah, man, and it looks like that's our show for you guys today. We have 214 people here on YouTube and X, not to mention everyone on Twitch, Rumble, Abstract, Kick, and Spotify later. We really appreciate every single one of you guys who watch us every single day, all week. Shout out to you guys, man.
Absolutely, guys. Without you guys, we couldn't do this, and we're so thankful for you guys supporting us. But if you could check out our partners, we would greatly appreciate that, as they're kind of the second half that allows us to do this on a day-to-day. But Sats Terminal is the DEX aggregator swap for the entire Bitcoin ecosystem. If you're looking to swap for DAO, go to the moon. Do it at satsterminal.com because you're going to find the most liquid and best pricing there. You're also going to be able to earn Amber points. Amber points are going to go towards a future alpha that's related to Sats Terminal. So, they want to give back to their early adopters. If you can kind of take that hint and be logical with it, then you know what that probably means. But, there's many different ways to earn Amber. Go to satsterminal.com, join their Discord. Team is awesome. Check them out today. And then BetBTC is the predictions marketplace of the Bitcoin ecosystem. All you need is a Bitcoin wallet, some Bitcoin, and 6 Bitcoin blocks, and you can start placing bets in their Blitz markets. Their Blitz markets is a 10-minute market that allows you to pick lock in a price. You get 10 minutes to lock in the price of either Bitcoin, BNB, or Solana. You can pick for it to go up or down in the next 10 minutes, and you get that second wave of 10 minutes, and then to see if you're correct or incorrect. But you can place bets in their other markets as well. They have a couple other markets there, but very shortly, you're going to be able to create your own markets and earn 1.5% of the total volume for yourself. So that's going to be really exciting, guys. Make sure you're checking them out. You can earn XP. Their new XP dashboard is going to be coming live very soon. Stay tuned. Go join their community. Dive into their docs as well, but head over to betbtc.win today. And then Emblem Vault is constantly dropping new updates with their products. They recently dropped the bulk minting tool, which allows you to mint your ordinals or your Bitcoin assets and bridge them over to different environments, right? You're gonna be able to bridge ordinals from Bitcoin to Base to Abstract, and you can do it already on Ethereum right now. Whether they're Rare Pepes or Taproot Wizards. Right now, the Taproot Wizards collection is already over there, so you can participate in that. But if you want to use Agent Hustle, which is their AI agent, you're going to be able to do that soon, as well as they're going to add the Bitcoin tech stack to Hustle. But you can use Hustle right now for helping you out in the jungles of Solana through the trenches over there. Hustle is going to be like an AI assistant, kind of help you trade. You can actually have Hustle do DeFi functions for you, but I utilize them mostly for like research and stuff. And eventually, once they add that conditional trading, I'm going to definitely participate in that. So if you want to get into like a coin when it hits a 20% drop and then sell at like a 30% profit, take profit, Hustle's going to be able to do that all for you. So it's exciting times for Agent Hustle, as that latest release is going to be coming out very soon. And then don't forget, they have a TGE for their Bitcoin Rune that's going to be coming out in September/October. And you can participate in a pre-sale environment over there at OpenSea right now if you search Emblem Founder Vaults. And it's an NFT, but once you get close to the TGE, they're going to give you guys instructions on how to get those runes into your Bitcoin wallet. Head over to emblem.vision today. Join their communities as well, as their team is awesome and ready to answer any questions you have. And then Artura.finance is the perps and leverage DEX of the Bitcoin ecosystem. If you want to take trades on Doggo to the Moon, $1 billion cat, Ordi Sats, you're going to be able to do so on Artura.finance. They're about to launch on Botonic's Bitcoin Layer 2, which is the Spider Chain. They're going to be doing some co-promotions with that team, so look out for that. They're going to have their XP dashboard ready, so make sure you're taking advantage of that as well. And then shortly after that, they're going to be launching on Hemi Bitcoin Layer 2, backed by Binance Labs. But if you're not into trading, you just want to participate in their platform, you can add liquidity to their liquidity vaults and earn passively that way. Make sure you join their Discord, as they have some really experienced traders over there that are willing to give you guys tips and tricks, right? So head over to there, join their community, and dive into their documentation there. Artura.finance is the website. Dive in today. And then Fluid Tokens is the UTXO wizard devs of the Bitcoin ecosystem, started on Cardano. They have their Aquarium platform where you can earn Babel fees there. They also have lending and borrowing platform on Cardano as well. On the Bitcoin side, they have staking vaults, the first to offer retail staking vaults on Bitcoin layer 1. If you participated in the Dog or the Moon staking vault, you can go claim your rewards today. You can do it all in one transaction, get your original tokens and your rewards back to you in one transaction there. They're supposedly going to be starting the Dog Season 3 in, I believe, late July, early August. So make sure you're paying attention to that. And you can participate in their airdrop tool, right? If you are a founder of a rune collection, you need to airdrop runes to your community. You can do so by going to fluidtokens.com, click on the Bitcoin side, and click on the airdrop tool. You can use two methods. You can upload a CSV file, which has all the addresses on there. It's like Google Sheets or Excel, or you can do it manually by doing it one by one. It's really cost efficient and it's quick. So check that out for sure at fluidtokens.com. And then Tokyo Wallet is the multi-chain smart wallet focused on the best UI and UX for users. You can actually swap for Cardano tokens. You can swap for Bitcoin runes. Because they partnered with Sats Terminal on the Bitcoin side, and they also partnered with the lead aggregator on the Cardano side. But also, you can find alpha on their app, right? So if you have an Apple iPhone, head over to the Apple App Store. Download the app there. If you have an Android, head over to Google Play, download the app. Let us know what you guys think about the app. They're going to be adding new ecosystems and environments to the app as well. So make sure you check them out at Tokyo.io. And then Merlin Chain, we just talked about them with Jeff. They are uniting Bitcoin strength to the power of AI. They have been crushing it with their branding, guys, partnerships, all this. They're going to be on Kraken. They're on Kraken's roadmap. Alongside Dog, right? But I expect huge things from this team just because they're constantly grinding to get their brand stronger and stronger. And BTC is, really formidable, starting to become really strong as well. But look, if you want to use their AI agent wizard 0.03, you can do so to kind of guide you through Merlin's ecosystem. It also can do DeFi functions for you. But if you want to help secure the chain, you can participate in the proof of stake that we just went over in our Merlin Monday segment. You can participate in the flexible, which is a day-to-day. You earn 15% APR there, or the bonded, which is 6 months, and you earn 45% APR on the bonded side. Just head over to merlinchain.io, click on staking, and you'll have those two options in the drop down for you. And then don't forget about our integrated partners in Jungle, formerly Foxy AI, building the metaverse on Bitcoin called the Bitverse, and their first-person shooter game called Cypher Striker. And don't forget, they are also supporting Bitcoin Derby, which is a horse racing game. And then Ordinal Hive is the aggregator Ordinal marketplace for the Bitcoin ecosystem. Something similar to what Sats Terminal is doing, except for Ordinals. They're focused on Ordinals. They're going to find the cheapest Ordinals around for you guys. And they have amazing trader tools as well. Thank you guys so much for checking out our partners and hanging out with us on this Monday.
Yep. Great job, man, as always. And if you guys have a few more minutes and wouldn't mind checking out OnChainRevolution.io, some of the best articles dating all the way back to last year. If you know someone, just send them in your space, please send them our website. We really feel like it can help them get started and code up to where we are today. If you want to learn about Alkane's brand new article last week, definitely want to check this one out, guys. Learn all about Alkane's while you still can, while you're still early. So definitely check that out. If you guys need a VPN, if there's a site that you want to get to and it's not letting you go on, use a VPN. It's not against the law for privacy, and privacy allows you to use any site that you want, and that is also not against the law. You're not breaking any laws by using any website. Use a VPN, guys, and I highly recommend Nord. You can get a 70% off coupon if you use our link here to get your VPN. Don't go to Nord's website, so they're going to charge you $10 a month. If you use our link, they're charging you $3 a month, guys. Definitely get it. Lock it in. Forget about it. I have mine set for 2 years. Paid for it. Done. See you in 2 years. Definitely want to get a VPN for all your internet uses, guys. Everything is done through my VPN. If you guys need merch for any event that's coming up, or you want to just lounge around at home with some pretty cool stuff here, check everything out here at OnChainRevolution.io. This is all done through our Shopify, but there it is. And guys, we are live Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Central, 8 a.m. Pacific, and 3 p.m. UTC. Check us out all week, guys. Until tomorrow.
Peace.
OnChain, 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 OnChain. OnChain Revolution roll call. Market recap. You not bullish enough, no. You're not bullish enough, no. Look at the price go. Bitcoin control. Why you still coping? Price action rolling. Don't fall for bear trap. Swapping indexes and putting it up in the sex. I can take profit right now. OnChain is where I be now. You can never look back. They don't want you to know. How did the market react? Fear and greed gotta adapt. Now we bridging the tokens and marching the network right now. You know how crazy we are. Nookies are savages now. They know how crazy we are. Chain abstraction, main attraction. OnChain Revolution.